I want to demystify something about us women. So we are fearfully and wonderfully made. But one of the great mysteries of the world is, how do our menstrual cycles work? So I just want to show you, with the help of this pictorial, what your body does. So day 1 of our menstrual cycle is the first day that we have a heavy bleed. Not like the little bit of spotting that can happen before we actually start our periods, but it's that first full day of blood. So that's day 1. So if you look down here, day 1 through approximately day 7, we don't have a whole lot of estrogen here or progesterone. Now, periods typically can last from 5 to 7 days. That's considered normal. And a typical cycle, normal days from day 1 until we start our period again, is considered 21 to 35 days, and teenagers even up to 45 days. So what happens here is we bleed for that 5 to 7 days, and then we have a follicle in our ovaries. Follicle is just a sac that our eggs set in, so 1 egg per follicle. The follicle also releases hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So down here, sometime after day 7, our estrogen starts to increase. And our estrogen peaks right around day 14. Now this is average, everybody's different. It can be days 10 through day 16 is when ovulation typically happens for people. So right before ovulation, we get a big rise in our estrogen. And that estrogen rises because a chemical in our brain called follicle stimulating hormone is giving it a signal that says, hey, rise, we need to have an egg, we need to ovulate. So when that happens, estrogen goes up. Estrogen signals that follicle to, hey, get ready, we're going to have a race. We're going to see who can get to the fallopian tube first. So these follicles have this race, and then what happens, one of those follicles wins the race, and it matures, and then the egg ruptures out of the follicle. So midcycle is when we ovulate. That's called ovulation, when that egg pops out. And some of us will have ovarian pain. We call that Mittelschmerz. It's a German word. There could be a little bit of discomfort over one or the other of our ovaries. And typically, if things are going well, 1 month we ovulate from one ovary, the next month we ovulate from the second ovary. So once that egg is popped out, then in the next few days, something is formed that's a miracle in our body. So in the matter of just a few hours, a corpus luteum is formed. And that's like a 4 centimeter or like a 2-inch little island of itself, if you will. And it's a complete endocrine gland in and of itself. And that corpus luteum is what then produces progesterone. So then you can see, like right after ovulation, our progesterone starts going up. Our progesterone peaks around days 19 through 21. Our estrogen kind of dipped down and it goes right back up right around days 19 through 21. And then down here, as we're getting ready to have a cycle again, our body's like, okay, after that egg's released, it hops down into our fallopian tube. If it's not met by a friendly sperm and we don't conceive, then our body starts decreasing the hormones. Decrease, decrease, decrease. Down here around day 28 or whatever we are in our own personal cycles, when those hormones decrease, that's when we start bleeding again. So it's oftentimes why we also get those PMS symptoms. Our progesterone decreases, our estrogen decreases. So that, in a nutshell, is how our periods work. This luteal phase always lasts around 14 days. That's the consistent part, no matter how long your period is. Now this follicular phase, where that follicle's being prepared, that can last longer. It can even last up to 21 days. So sometimes it's really hard to figure out about how those hormones are if you're having irregular cycles. But we like to do some testing and try to figure that out and help you to have the healthiest menstrual period cycle that you can.